am here in the heart of LaBitConf in Buenos Aires with the granddaddy of all regulators and compliance officers in the crypto space, Juan Llanos. You've been in the space for, I don't know, like 10, 11, 12 years?
12 years, yeah. Well, I was working in AML compliance. That was my professional career in the US as an immigrant. There was an election back then in around 11, 12, and Mitt Romney's tax returns were hijacked, and there was a Bitcoin ransom back then. So everyone started talking about Bitcoin. And then I started getting interested in the technology itself. I am from Argentina, as you know. We've gone through so many cycles of hyperinflation and debasement of the currency and everything. Both things resonated with me. This is something that's going to be completely independent of political control, a technology that's fully decentralized, super interesting, democratizing access.
It's its own set of rules, its own set of laws.
Yeah, and I was working with a money transfer company servicing Hispanics. So it was very pro the little guy.
10 years in, we've created decentralized self-custodial technology and people are giving their money to Sam Bankman-Fried. What's going on?
First of all, the speculative use case has taken over. We had all those use cases, right? Payments, cross-border payments, remittances, enabling small service providers in Africa to collect payments from abroad, financial inclusion. All that is gone now. Why? Because greed. We have got into a world of easy investments, global casino, basically. That's what has happened. And I'm not judging it. It's like an observation. And it's usually necessary to have these bootstrapping mechanisms to give rise to a new industry. And now we have the interest by institutional investors, hedge funds, the large players, trying to exploit their advantages in the TradFi world and apply the same techniques, technologies, methodologies to the DeFi world. But we don't have, this is all hybrid systems. This is happening in highly centralized systems. Most of the problem.
I want to argue with you about something. I don't think greed is the problem. I think greed is, to quote Gordon Gekko, good. The problem is not the greed, it's the short-term thinking. Because these people who are greedy, all of these people who had funds on these different, on Celsius, on
That's a good point.
BlockFi, on FTX, you name it. They lost money, they didn't make money. The problem is that we are short-term greedy, not long-term greedy.
That's a good point.
Now, a lot of people keep saying, what we need to do to fix this is bring in regulation. Are regulators going to help us be long-term greedy?
To me, regulation today, this kind of regulation is incompatible with these new technologies. Blockchain technology, where there's zero counterparty risk, atomic swaps or exchanges happen atomically on chain with a simple digital signature. Why do you need all these regulations? So that is number one. There's a problem with applying regulation that was created 80, 90 years ago for problems that were that old to technologies that don't require these controls, these safeguards for intermediaries. Another problem is that we have very senior or non-enlightened and non-technical savvy, technology savvy policymakers, and they're politically driven. So they will try to exploit, obviously, the message or the excuse of consumer protection and constituent protection and all that. They're going to exploit these failures in the industry to come up as the saviors and the paternalistic attitude of, you need us to protect you with this new regime. Every time we meet with a regulator, in my opinion, the primary motivator is self-preservation. I haven't seen someone who really says, will my society benefit with this technology? Will I be able to enable this poor person to have a shot at wealth by enabling them to safely buy and sell? No, everyone is saying, we are under pressure by Gafi. We don't want to be on the grey list. We need to, they have the political pressures of the moment. Separate the administrative aspects of regulation from the political. Very hard to do.
You at Ripio, you guys have institutional customers.
Yes, increasingly.
How do you think the collapse of FTX is going to impact your institutional customers? You think they're going to leave the space? You think they're going to come into the space?
They're realizing that we're almost at the point of no return in terms of this is a new technology. This is something that's a better option to the existing system. Managing the transition is a problem, right? Yeah. But they're realizing I need to get involved as soon as possible. I need to do a proof of concept. Mercado Libre did it. We won a deal with Mercado Libre because they were obviously enlightened, forward-thinking, and they have like 50 million users, and now they're issuing a token. We're powering the issuance, the crypto services behind, and the exchange and the custody and all that is happening with us, with our technology. We have a lot of new potential prospects in the pipeline. I don't know how they're going to react. Usually it takes some time for them to digest what happened. We know what happened.
Yeah,
you know?
We're on Twitter.
We know what happened, and we know how serious it is.
Yeah.
We know the hole that is going to leave, and we kind of sort of anticipate, you know, the domino effect that will happen. They will probably absorb it little by little, but obviously we will have to reduce our fuzz professionally, you know, with showing evidence that we are professional. I don't know, it's our job.
Sovryn has just released a new DeFi product for Bitcoin. Bitcoin native DeFi, you can borrow with your Bitcoin at 0% interest because you're borrowing from yourself, there's no lender, right? So the system will issue stable coins. One of the things that we think is an advantage here is you can get liquidity from your Bitcoin without having a tax event. As a regulator, do you think that's...
I've heard your pitch before, and it's very, very appealing, very interesting. Because there's no actual conversion of capital gains. So it stays in limbo, and there's no tax event.
That's right. We think it's a powerful tool for institutional players because there's no counterparty. Do you see this as an advantage, the fact that they don't have to worry about a counterparty, and they don't, as a result, they don't need to worry also about potential KYC issues or who they're trading with?
Obviously, it's very attractive as a product, but as you know, institutions and the higher up you go in the complexity and sophistication of investors, the more lawyers they have and the more risk averse they are, right? Yeah. Pension funds, right, in the United States, $1 trillion funds, all these things are extremely conservative, and they rely on the safeguards, the traditional safeguards, which are in question, right? We are seeing that these apparent protections are not really in place. So if I were a aggressive investor or family office funds investment manager, I would take the shot. I would take a risk. I would start with that level of persuasion, basically. I would launch that as a global product for people who are more daring or more tech savvy and also more aggressive in terms of, okay, I'm able to take this risk. I don't care if someone comes in with a subpoena to get my information. I could be able to provide it. But a product like this, which is global, it's global appeal, I think it would be fantastic for a global product, a global offering.
Absolutely. All right, I think we're good. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.